So, welcome back to another episode, and this is a new series that I want to start where I've done a lot of talking about video games over the years, a lot about my favorites and a lot about my favorite retro games. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I can play some of those retro games and talk about them as I'm playing them and remember back a lot of memories and talk about the games and all that kinds of stuff. And I thought I'd start today with basically my first review that I ever did was Phantasy Star on the Sega Master System. I loved it. It had a big effect on me back in 1987-88 when I played it, and I thought I'd play it today and go through it and just talk about some memories of what it was like back then and all that kind of stuff. And Phantasy Star is my favorite video game of all time, and I thought this would be a great place to start. And I'm starting it on Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection on the 360 here, so I've got this all powered and ready to go, so let's go down to Phantasy Star here. Wow. First of all, the music kicks in and it just it kills me, man. It just kills me. 1988 was a great year for myself. So let's go ahead and press start. Yeah, the first time I went to my friend's place and I saw this opening here, like I was there with my friend Andrew and we're just like, oh my god, look at this. And you have to remember, this is 1988. We couldn't believe that these were anime-style graphics. Anime wasn't a big thing back in 1988 at all in North America. We had Robotech and a few other shows had gone through, but nothing like this. So, yeah, so I'm just clicking through here. But yeah, just to see cinematics like this in video games, and yes, we used to call them cinematics. That was a fancy name we had for them back then. I just remember seeing this and going, wow. And one thing about the Master System is it was so colorful. It really looked really, really nice. Very, very vibrant. And, oh yeah. See my main character there. Oh god, this blew me away. So we start off in the first town. And I just remember thinking at the time when I first saw this at my friend's place, I was like, oh, there's a town and you can explore it? This is like Dungeons and Dragons. And I thought it was so fascinating. And this is the first little house you step into. So this is the home of our main character, Alice. Her brother has been murdered, and we're trying to avenge his death. So we've discovered that. So we'll go down to the first little dungeon here. I mean, the first time my friend walked down here, I was like, holy shit. Like, it felt like you were walking through a dungeon. I know that sounds the most stupidest thing ever, but it was very, very advanced looking. And it's very, very smooth. Like, this looks really pretty good for 1988. The only other RPGs out on consoles, I'm trying to think, was Dragon Warrior. And Dragon Warrior had was nothing like this. Look at this. You press your button, open a door, and go through. And there's an actual treasure chest. You know, that you can... Did you want to open it? And you hit yes. And you take your gold out. That blew my mind. I was like, wow, you can play Dungeons and Dragons, but you don't need the people. Because back then, to have this kind of adventure, you needed to have, you played it with, tabletop RPGs. So to be able to play a role-playing game on your own, this was light years ahead of anything that I'd ever seen. It's great. I love playing this game. It's just brings back a lot of happy memories of starting high school, and this was the first role-playing game that I'd ever played, really. It really was the first RPG I'd ever played. Some dungeons you will not get far without some sort of light. Yeah, that's right. You need, I think it's a lamp to light your way in some of the dungeons. And oh, this is the girl that heals me. I'm so low. I know how you must feel, dear. No one can stop you from doing what you know you must do. But if you should ever be wounded in battle, come here to rest. Please rest yourself. You're welcome here anytime. And I remember my friend was demoing this game for me at the time in '88, and I remember him saying, "Yo, yeah, we have to keep coming back to this lady a hell of a lot," and that's really cool. And then look at these guards here. You go talk to them. This is another thing. I think I've mentioned this before, but Phantasy Star is heavily influenced, you can tell, by Star Wars. And you can tell these guys are kind of like, well, now they would look like clone troopers, but clone troopers didn't exist at this time. Stormtroopers. You had better not leave the residential area. That's a classic one. So, yeah, so this is the first town that you're in. You walk in, and I remember thinking, oh, I can walk into stores and buy things? And I can take those items with me on this adventure? Man, this was cool. Should I buy something? What can I buy? Flash, escaper, transfer. So yeah, you can go around the entire town and get clues and stuff like that. So, oh man, this music. I've been humming this music since I must have been 13, 14 years old. Oh, I'm 40 now. So, as soon as I walk out of the gate, as you want to call it here, this is when I start getting get attacked by monsters. And you would do this in any RPG. As soon as you had to exit out, you get into the world map, and you would, you know, just walk back and forth, up and down, till monsters attack you, and no monsters attacked me yet. It's funny, when you don't want to get attacked, you get attacked all the time. I'll walk up a little bit further. Finally. Can you get attacked by a swarm? This is always a gamble. You could either open this up and it would explode on you, or you get money. Let's see what I get. Hey, I get money. So, rinse and repeat. You just fight monsters and keep going back into town and healing and saving. The one thing that did get me about this combat back then and the monsters was the animation. It was so great to see frames of animation. It wasn't just a static image. If you played Dragon Warrior, it was just a static image of a slime. It didn't move. Boy. If I walk onto some of those trees, I'll get attacked by harder enemies, and that's not what I need right now. I need to gain a couple of levels so I can go up. Scorpion, something a little harder here. Oh man. Don't tell me I'm gonna fucking lose. Okay. I gotta run. Oh my god, wow. Okay, I'm safe again. Run it back up to town and heal. Seeing, can I save in the game itself? Well, some of these, you know, really emulated games in these collections, you have to hit another button or something to save. But no, you can still save the old-fashioned way, which is cool. I can run to the other little part of town. Let's just go talk to some people. Yeah, wow. This game was a game changer, and it was really sad that a lot of people didn't get a chance to play this. Because everybody had Nintendos. You know, like a Sega Master System was something that was not accessible to a lot of people back then. The one thing that I'm just going to stop for a second and say is that one thing I really enjoy about this game is the use of, science and science fiction and, like obviously monsters, but monsters of all sorts of different varieties. Like he talked about Medusa. There's Medusa in this game. There's a lot of different kinds of creatures and things, and I like the way they combined it all, and that was what really set this game apart. And there's another thing that's a big deal in this game is space travel. There's 3 planets to travel to. There's Motavia, Dazorus, and Palma here. Let's see who's in it. But yeah, this is it's an old school RPG because it's an old game. But it's for myself, it's super nostalgic. It's one of those things, like a video game is a video game, right? But I put this in, and this calms me. Hearing the music again, and just going and doing the routine of fighting monsters, going back to town, upgrading your equipment. There's something very, very comforting about that. And yeah, for the first bit of the game, you just come back and forth over here quite a lot of times, and I'm just not high enough level to go do anything else yet. And yeah, it's not a solo game, as that you go and part of the game is the beginning of the game is to find your other adventurers to help you. So you get Meow, and Odin, and eventually Noah as well. So you end up getting. Oh, I get into another combat here. I can take them both on, I think. Do I have any magic yet? I didn't think so. But a very, very well-conceived game. The dungeons were made by Yuji Naka, who went on to be head of Sonic Team. And he programmed all those dungeons, which was very cool. And supposedly, I'll just go back to the dungeon here for a second, show you. This, at first, in the original version of the game, which was in beta form for them, when they were working on it, was you were flying through these dungeons like super fast. And they're like, no, we gotta slow this down. So they had to slow it down quite a bit because it was just so jarring. You're getting right to the end of a corridor, you'd be bam, and all of a sudden you'd be boom at the end of the other corridor. And it wasn't a lot of fun. It didn't really feel like you were really part of the experience rather than you were part of this, crazy field, track and field right to the end of the dungeons at times. But yeah, they did a great job. Dragon Quest in Japan was doing so well, and Sega was like, hey, we need to do an RPG. So, that day was really as simple as that. Let's just compete. And let's just go out here again. I think I can take one of these guys on now. Yeah, I should just stay ahead of it. But they just, hey, let's just create an RPG, and they created a Phantasy Star, and it's so funny with games like this back then. It was a very, very small development team. I think it was about 6 or 7 people. One person did the monsters, and one person would do backgrounds, and one person did the dungeons, and oh my god, I almost died there. That was ridiculous. I can't open it because I'll probably die. A bomb might go off, and like these old RPGs were very unforgiving. Yeah, it's funny with Dragon Quest and a lot of these old RPGs is that they really set the standard. Let me save my game. Oh, I keep wanting to save a different way. The old RPG, the standard of you're in a town, you go to an overworld, you fight tons of monsters, and you buy equipment. It's really a formula that was really big in the 80s and 90s. In the last few years, it's dying off a little bit. You don't see as many RPGs, or if you do, they're a little bit more action oriented. Even Phantasy Star, the main games now are Phantasy Star Online, and they're mainly action. There's not as much turn-based stuff anymore. And I love this stuff. I don't mind. In fact, I find grinding, as I was saying a little bit earlier, very, very relaxing. I used to just sit and grind for hours and hours and end, feeling I was really getting somewhere with my characters. Jeez. Oh, finally, I gain a level. I'll gamble and open that up. Get the fuck back. Oh, no! I'm gonna run. Jesus. I wonder what my hit points are at right now. But it's really cool. Yeah, you can eventually get a spaceship, and you get your own spaceship, and you can travel to all these different planets. I mean, Mass Effect allows you to do that now, but back then this was a very big game. Very big in scope. I think I can get a little braver. I'm second level here. Okay, let's see how good I am. Yeah, getting a level back then was everything. Oh, shit. Do I have any magic? Oh, God, okay. I don't know because it's 2 if I can run or not. Ah, you fucker! Okay, let's not get so adventurous. I'm an adventurer who should not get adventurous here. And another thing was, it was really cool to have a female lead in a game. That was also another big deal back then. Yeah, the developers were talking. I guess I think it was a girl who did some of the character animation on the zombies, and the zombies are later on in the game. But it's the zombies. They basically throw up on you. They throw up, and it was so funny. The animation was so disgusting. They were so disgusted by what they created, but they're like, we have to put it in the game. It's just incredible, and the animation's really good on it. And I think I remember reading as well that they were able to put so many enemies on the screen. There was never a reason to, but they could put, like, I think they were testing it out. I think it was like 7 or 8 zombies on the screen at one time, but this is on the Master System. They were doing some trickery with the coding and were able to get that many monsters going, which is pretty neat. Yeah, guys, I didn't know how exciting this would be because it's an RPG, and it's all about leveling for me now, and I'm buying items and lights so I can see in the dungeons in a little bit when I get there. So I just wanted to turn this on and play it again because it's been a couple of years since I played Phantasy Star, and it's just one of those games. The music, man, I remember I was so nostalgic about this game, even out of high school. Now you have to understand, like, I just graduated high school, and I was sitting one night, and I was having a beer, and I turned on Phantasy Star, the game I played in '88, and I just sat there, and I almost had a tear in my eye, and it wasn't even that long after this game, and I was like, man, that was ever a great time with me and my friends. We were all playing Dungeons and Dragons back then, and video games. We didn't have any responsibilities. It was grade 8, so a lot of freedom. And I've also said that I think when you're 13 and 14 is a really magical age. It's really an age when you kind of get into the hobbies that you're going to get into. And I think for this came out at the right time for me, and it was the beginning of video games for me. After this, video gaming really began. It was is where I became a hardcore fanatic. After this, I never. There wasn't an RPG released on any console that I didn't play after this. I was hooked. And after Phantasy Star, I played Miracle Warriors, I played Ease. There was a lot of great stuff going on. So Guys, I just wanted to turn on Phantasy Star, share some memories with you about one of my favorite video games of all time. It never gets old. It's so many years later and it never gets old, and I'll be playing this game, geez, right till the eve of my death, I tell you, because I love it that much. It's just, and it's so meaningful every time I put it on. It's such a great nostalgic memory. So anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed. Until next time.